Hi, I'm John Eichelsheim for FishingAdvisor.co.nz. The burley's in the water, the gear's all set up, got a bait on the hook. Now it's all about putting it all together, catching a fish. The whole idea of stray lining is for that bait to drift down as naturally as possible. As naturally as if we'd just thrown a piece of bait in with no hook or sinker on it. So I'm starting with quite a light weight, and I'll see whether that's going to work for me. If it's too light, I'll simply cut the hook off, change the sinker and start again. If the current was a bit faster and the water is relatively deep, you'd use a lot more weight. I might even use as much as 2 ounce weight. I'm just going to lob it into the water, and then I'm going to feed the line out so that it drifts away with the current. It's a free spool reel. I simply take it out of gear, which means that the spool is now free to turn at the same speed that the bait is drifting down through the water column. Take care to keep your thumb lightly on the spool at all times. That's probably the most important thing to remember when you're using an overhead reel, to avoid the dreaded overrun or snarl up. Just keep on feeding out the line until I'm sure that the bait has reached the bottom. It can take a while, depends on the depth of water and how much weight you're using. Very often, though, you won't get to the bottom when you're stray lining. You'll actually get picked up as the bait is falling, which is just what's happened to me here. And that's one of the good things about stray lining, is that it's not necessary to be right on the bottom all the time. When you do get to the bottom, keep it in free spool, keep your thumb on the spool, and just let it sit there for a few moments. If nothing happens, lift the rod, move the bait. If you let it sit there for too long, you run the risk of it getting snagged. So lift the bait. You might need to let out a little more line again as the current picks it up and it drifts a little bit further back. You can do that a couple of times, and then it's sensible to reel the bait back in and start all over again. When you're stray lining, bites come in a variety of ways. Sometimes you'll feel a couple of little taps and then a pull. Other times, and those are the best sorts of bites, you just get picked up and a fish runs away with the bait, and those are usually bigger fish that bite that way. But you can get fooled. Sometimes the little taps can be from larger fish. And if you're just getting little taps, but they're not really pulling the line off the spool, you can try teasing them to bite a wee bit better. You just pull the line away from them slightly, and that's why I like an overhead as well. You can use your finger just to pull the bait away ever so slightly, and sometimes that's enough to tease this fish into taking a good hold of the bait and running with it, so that I can tighten up on the line. In order to hook the fish, you need to set the hook. This is a different process if you're using a J hook from when you're using a circle hook. In the case of a circle hook like I'm using, it's simply a matter of tightening up. So as the fish is running away, you put the reel in gear, let the line go nice and tight, and then lift the rod gently. That's all that's required to set the circle hook in the corner of a fish's mouth. If you're using a J hook, when the line comes tight, you need to lift the rod with a little bit more force. It's called striking or setting the hook, and that will pull the hook into the fish's mouth. Keeping plenty of tension on the rod, so a good bend in the rod. When the fish is running away, just let it run. Let the rod do the work, let the reel do the work. Lift, wind, lift, wind. Running away again, just relax. And your drag system will wear the fish down until it's close enough for you to bring to the boat. Well, there you go, guys. That's the basics of stray lining, and hopefully you'll find that useful. Get out there, give it a go. It's a great way to catch fish. That took the empty hook, so it's probably a KAHAWAI.